Bart set up a casino at home, but he never expected his homemade lottery machine to break down. The kids panicked and ran away, and while escaping, Bart still reminded everyone that there were no refunds for acts of God. He made less than $20, but Homer spent $900 repairing the washing machine. Homer didn't have that kind of cash, so he turned his eyes to the family piggy bank. It was full of coins, and while trying to move it, he dropped it on the floor, leaving a deep hole. Homer joked that maybe the hole went all the way to China. With no money in the house, Marge decided to sell some antiques. One sculpture had been passed down from her grandmother. Lisa told her to think twice, but Marge believed her grandma would be happy knowing her statue could save the family. So she went to an antique shop. The place was full of strange items, and the shop owner took one look at the statue and said its surface looked fake. It had to be a reproduction. Marge asked John to check again. To prove his point, John twisted off the doll's head, revealing it wasn't an heirloom at all, but just a flask her grandma used to hide booze. Homer didn't get it. A random toy nearby could sell for $50, but their old bottle was worthless. John explained that's the value of rarity. Since the bottle was unsellable, Homer invited John over to the house to see if they owned anything valuable. After a quick look around, John didn't find any treasures, but he admired Marge's taste in curtains. Marge was thrilled to meet someone who appreciated her style and gave John a friendly pat. Bart copied her gesture and got Homer's hand around his neck for it. Even though John didn't find anything worth money, he and Homer became good friends. After spending the day together, Homer couldn't stop talking about how great John was and wanted to invite him over again. But Marge had noticed something yesterday. She suspected John, like Smithers, was gay. When Homer remembered dancing with him, he instantly felt uncomfortable. His admiration for John disappeared in a second. Marge didn't mind. She said John was a good person and had already promised to go out with him that day. She told Homer to at least say hello, but since learning about John's orientation, every cell in Homer's body was screaming no. Marge and the kids didn't care. They found John funny and kind. John shared wild stories about Springfield's secret past, things Marge had never heard before. Bart and Lisa were fascinated and impressed. While they were out eating, they happened to run into Smithers, which confirmed John's sexuality beyond doubt. When Homer got home, he started questioning Marge, worried John might steal her away. Marge grew annoyed. John got along with everyone and just wanted to be friends. There was nothing more to it. Marge wasn't bothered, but Bart was starting to change. He began liking floral shirts and even chose pink desserts. Homer got nervous. He was terrified Bart might turn gay. Marge said Bart's choices were his own, and if he did turn out that way, maybe Homer should blame himself for not spending more time with him. Homer admitted she had a point. He decided to bond with Bart, but when he went downstairs, he saw Bart in full costume and lost it. Homer didn't want John influencing his son, so he kicked him out. John didn't understand why Homer was so prejudiced. Homer didn't really know either. Society didn't accept people like John, so he figured he should side with the majority. Determined to straighten Bart out, Homer decided to teach him to be a real man. He tried some subtle methods first, but after 2 hours, Bart still didn't get it. When that failed, Homer went extreme. He brought Bart to a factory so he could see what real men looked like, but to his shock, all the burly workers there were gay. Homer quickly dragged Bart out. He couldn't understand how even steelworkers were gay now. Barney told him not to worry. Bart would grow up to be a straight man. Moe added that the best way to make a man straight was to send him to war, but since it was peacetime, the next best thing was to go hunting. Homer geared up for it, but just then he saw John chatting happily with his family. He didn't want John near Bart, so he decided to take Bart hunting right away to make him a man. Bart thought Homer was going to teach him to drive. Homer said 10 was too young for that, so today it'd be hunting lessons. Bart joked that a bunch of guys hanging out in the woods sounded kind of gay, and Homer couldn't even argue with that. They sat in the forest until nightfall, ran out of beer, and hadn't seen a single animal. The whole point was to toughen Bart up, but now the kid was asleep, and the trip felt pointless. On the way home, Homer blamed himself, but Moe told him to relax. There was always Lisa. Maybe she could become a real man. Homer laughed, saying Lisa was a vegetarian. She'd never shoot an animal. Just as he was about to give up, they passed a reindeer farm. Lisa was worried about Bart, knowing hunting wasn't easy. John told her not to worry. There were no wild deer near Springfield, only the reindeer at that farm. Homer woke Bart up, telling him this was his chance. One shot, and he'd be a real man. Bart refused, saying shooting cage animals had nothing to do with being a man. Homer didn't care. He said either Bart or the deer had to go down today. Just as he turned around, a gunshot rang out. Homer thought Bart had done it, but Bart said it wasn't him. The reindeer suddenly went wild. Barney and Moe ducked for cover, leaving Homer and Bart trembling. As the animals charged, Homer lifted Bart over his head to protect him. As a father and a man, protecting his child was instinct. Just when it seemed hopeless, a robotic Santa appeared and scared the reindeer away. Thanks to John, Homer was saved. The three tough guys had just been rescued by a gay man. Barney worried it would sound bad if people found out, but Homer didn't care anymore. John had saved his life, and that changed everything. Homer finally realized it didn't matter what kind of man Bart grew up to be. He would respect his son no matter what.
Huh? He thinks you're gay. He thinks I'm gay?